Mr. President, the Senate today is going to vote on the confirmation of Vermont's own Justice Beth Robinson. Vote to confirm her to serve as a judge on the Second Circuit Court of Appeals. As an advocate, Beth Robinson has been rightfully hailed as a tireless champion for equal rights and equal justice. But more importantly, her record as a Vermont Supreme Court justice clearly demonstrates her fairness, her impartiality, and loyalty to the rule of law above all else. We Vermonters overwhelmingly support her nomination, including elected officials, both Republicans and Democrats, the entire Vermont Supreme Court, and the Vermont Bar Association. They overwhelmingly support her. Justice Robinson will fill Vermont's seat on the Second Circuit, and I believe she's the best, strongest candidate for this position. And she deserves bipartisan support in this Senate, as she got last week on a vote. Beth Robinson was appointed to the Vermont Supreme Court by Governor Peter Shumlin in November 2011. And to give you some idea of the bipartisan support she's had over the years, the Vermont Senate, Republicans and Democrats, have to vote on her nomination. They voted unanimously to have her on the Vermont Supreme Court. All current Vermont Supreme Court justices appointed by both Democratic and Republican governors have signed a letter supporting her nomination to the Second Circuit. For the past decade, she has served on the court honorably. She's also participated in nearly 1,800 decisions. Now, I'm a member of the Vermont Bar, and I pay attention to what happens. And I see her tenure as being a display of a commitment to the rule of law. Her unwavering, decade-long dedication as a jurist and her loyalty to the law above all else has made Beth Robinson an outstanding Vermont Supreme Court justice. No Vermonter doubts she will carry that approach to justice with her in the Second Circuit. Let me talk a little bit about before she was on the bench. Prior to the time on the bench, Justice Robinson dedicated her legal career to pursuing liberty and justice for all. She spent the beginning of her legal career defending workers' rights and advancing discrimination cases. It was during this time that she worked pro bono as co-counsel to the plaintiffs in the case Baker versus State. That challenged Vermont's then prohibition on same-sex marriage. She successfully litigated this landmark decision in which the Vermont Supreme Court upheld equal protections for same-sex couples and actually led Vermont to become the first state in the Union to enact civil unions in the country. As a litigator, her work served as a blueprint for LGBTQ advocacy across the country. She successfully represented an employee of the University of Vermont who sought recognition of his Canadian marriage to a same-sex partner for health insurance purposes. Another, a couple seeking recognition of their out-of-state marriage in the context of second-parent adoption. A same-sex partner seeking Social Security survivor benefits for a child after her civil union partner died. In every case, she fought to secure legal protections and equality under the law. In fact, Beth changed the trajectory of LGBTQ rights in this country. And her tireless work has led our nation toward justice. Unfortunately, in what is becoming more and more of a toxic atmosphere, Justice Robinson's path to confirmation has faced baseless attacks. At her confirmation hearing, Justice Robinson's commitment to religious liberty was called into question. Now, these attacks are simply not grounded in reality. Any honest reading of her record proves that Justice Robinson is committed to protecting religious liberty. Some members argue that Robinson's work representing a Catholic woman who believes she had been discriminated against due to her own religious beliefs was, astonishingly, evidence of Robinson's hostility toward religious liberty. And in Justice Robinson's hearing, other members of the Judiciary Committee quoted her out of context, what I saw as an attempt to support a false narrative. One member of the committee read part of a sentence from a marriage law symposium that Justice Robinson participated in, and it suggested that it was proof of her hostility toward religious liberty. I said, read part of it, but the attack line falls apart the moment you bother to read the full sentence. In the full quote, Justice Robinson states, "I've always said that if somebody tried to force the Catholic Church to do a gay wedding, I'd represent the church pro bono." You can't construe that as hostility to religious freedom. Justice Robinson has a long record of supporting the fundamental right to religious liberty, both as a judge and as an advocate. The Vermonters I've heard of, regardless of party or ideology, regardless of their religion, are delighted that President Biden nominated Beth Robinson to fill the Vermont seat on the Second Circuit. Our leading Republicans, our leading Democrats agree with that. And if confirmed, we know she'd become the first openly gay woman to serve on a federal circuit court of appeals. I would urge all senators to evaluate Justice Robinson's record. And I hope that senators of both parties will see, as I have, she possesses exactly the right qualities, skills, and experience to excel as a judge on the Second Circuit. Mr. President, before I was in the Senate, I had the privilege to argue cases before the Second Circuit. I saw it as a court where you never thought of whether they were Republicans or Democrats, you thought about their abilities. And I always felt comfortable arguing there. Justice Robinson, when she becomes Judge Robinson, will give that same view to anybody who is a litigant before that court. Mr. President, I ask my full statement.